It's been a big night tonight, amazing interest still in the Pat Finucane case.
No, absolutely. As you can see, people are arriving here. There's a huge crowd. We're expecting, a few hundred people. It's an important issue. It's 26 years since Pat was murdered. There needs to be an inquiry. The British government committed a Western Party inquiry. They've only had a paper review through De Silva. The important thing of all these reviews, if you take from Stevens 1, Stevens 2, Stevens 3, Judge Corrie and then De Silva, every time there's a review there's more documents and papers. And I think, it'll be interesting to kind of hear the speakers, examine that and look at that. This isn't the full stop. There needs to be an inquiry. The only way to address this is an inquiry. And what we're seeing gathering here tonight are scores of families that are in similar positions that looked at the Finucane family as well with admiration, because when Geraldine talks about Pat and collusion, she talks about an awful can of worms that needs to be opened that affect many, many families, hundreds of families. But people here from across the community, Protestants and Catholics, Unionists, Nationalists, Republicans, all affected by a policy, all living here and all looking for the same thing, and that's the truth. And an inquiry into Pat Finucane certainly will go a long way. And the British government resisting it, it's an untenable position.
Peter, your recollections of your friend Pat?
Well, I think, on the anniversary it's very, very important, special for the family as well, particularly in view of the campaign that had to be taken, there had to be a campaign, and the campaign's always fed by people who support it, and I can see each year there are more and more people who are coming and support it, and it's very important, that people are aware of what it was all about, and it's hard to actually understand the detail of it, and people find it difficult to keep the detail. I find it hard to pick the detail of what went on, but I think eventually they'll have to have a public inquiry. They can't ignore it, and every time they come up with a De Silva cover-up type thing, it'll be resisted. When you're looking at this sort of military documentation and things, police documentation, even going back to the RUC stuff there, you have to know what you're looking for, and a lot of people don't see that, just read it as if it's a novel. You have to be able to look, you have to match it up, you have to compare it with other stuff that you've got and put it in context, and you really do need to know what you're looking for, and that's the skill, I think, and part of that skill, The campaign will go on, and letting people know what went on and the detail of what went on is very important. This case is not just about one person. This case is about a number of people and a number of families, a large number of families. The same issue, the same patterns, and the same people involved. So it has to go on. It will go on actually, because nobody's going to let up. Nobody's going to give up on it, and that's why.
I want to thank RFJ for putting this together. It was a huge turnout. Maybe it surprised everybody the type of turnout was here. The speakers were all excellent from different points of view, from a legal point of view, from an academic point of view, and indeed from a journalistic point of view. John Ware, who brought out a number of panorama programmes here. I suppose what I thought about it earlier on was that Pat Finucane is a well-known case. It's almost a cause célèbre in collusion. But it's not just that his name is synonymous with that and his murder was synonymous with state collusion. It has become synonymous with the fight against that. In other words, the fight to bring out the truth, and in bringing out the truth that the state cannot be involved in murderous collusion. We all know the state's involved in collusion, but murderous collusion, which is what this was, and of course Pat was not the only case. He's one of hundreds of cases. So in sort of it taking its prominence, and someone mentioned this, I think John Ware mentioned this earlier on, Pat himself might have been uncomfortable as being the cause célèbre, but as Mark Thompson said, a step forward in the Pat Finucane case is a step forward for all those victims of collusion. So I welcome it. I think it was a brilliant evening, very interesting, and every time you come to one of these things you think you know the detail, and then you hear, and it's actually indicative of the process here. You get another piece of information which wasn't known before, and that's what's happening. The more information coming out, the more information there is to come out.
Geraldine Finucane, an amazing crowd here tonight in the Lansdowne.
Well, I was personally overwhelmed by the number of people who turned out tonight, and I really think it shows how important this issue still is to so many people, that they gave up their evening for the event organised by Relatives for Justice. I was very touched and honoured.
It's grown into so much more, I guess. So many other people here tonight who have lost loved ones and see the campaign that you and your family are conducting as a way to unlocking the truth.
Well, I hope that we can unlock the truth for other people, and as a member of the audience here tonight said, when the Finucanes take a step forward, so does everybody else, and if we can help as many other people as possible, we will be pleased.
These are back in the courts, and may I believe public inquiry is still the only way this is going to really happen, isn't it?
Well, we feel the public inquiry is the best mechanism for getting to the truth, but we will be going to London and we will be going to Washington over St Patrick's, and hopefully there'll be another congressional hearing which we'll testify at.
Great to get that sort of support. What do you hope for in terms of support from the government in the 26 counties?
Well, they took the issue to Weston Park. They got Judge Corey put into place, and an inquiry was promised. The Irish government followed up on their commitments from the Weston Park Agreement, and they have said that we should be honoured by the British government, so hopefully they will continue to stand behind us